All right, how do I say this without being super dramatic? I have COVID-19. Talk to you when I'm feeling a little bit better, since it's only day 2 right now. All right, welcome back to another video with me, Mark. This one's a little bit different than normal. I'm just going over my story with CV-19, coronavirus. Why I'm making a video like this is for anyone who has questions about it, thinks that they might be sick. Had a few questions on my Instagram regarding the symptoms I was feeling and how long they lasted and how long my symptoms incubated before. So let's get into it. March 20th, was my last day in Colombia. I was planning on staying in Colombia actually. Then the Canadian government issued a warning or like a suggestion saying everyone should try and make it home and get commercial flights while the options are still available and before all the borders start shutting down permanently. So I figured like, oh, well, if I'm going to get sick, I'd rather get it in Canada where the healthcare is free. Turned out that was my demise because on the way home, I ended up getting it somehow. So on the 20th, I flew home, laid over from Cartagena to Toronto, laid over in Bogota and Atlanta, and the planes were completely packed, every seat filled. There was no distancing whatsoever. Everybody was lining up really close to each other. And the Atlanta airport was like no one even knew the virus existed. Everything was open. The bars were open. The restaurants were open. No one had masks on. There was no real presence of distancing. They didn't have any of the seats taped off to kind of encourage people to sit one seat apart. There was nothing. It was as if everything was normal. That day of travel was 18 hours of travel from Cartagena to Toronto, an incredible amount of exposure throughout the day. Left at 6 a.m., arrived at midnight in Toronto. And I figured, I said to myself, I won't even be surprised if I catch the virus today. Anyways, when I got home, I planned my 14-day quarantine in the basement of a parent's house, and I wanted to be super strict because I did not obviously want to give anything to my parents. Very scary. So we separated entirely. I had the whole basement to myself. They had the upstairs, and we did not come in contact whatsoever. Day 7 of my quarantine, I was feeling good. Or day 6, I was feeling good. Everything was good, doing exercise, falling into my routines. And then I woke up day 7, very sick. Most prevalent symptoms I had on day 7 were chronic fatigue, really achy in my body. I had a fever, I had a headache, sore throat, not really so much. So I called public health, didn't get a hold of anybody. It actually just did an automated system. It led me through a few questions and suggested that I go in and get tested.
Thank you for calling Telehealth Ontario. At this time, Telehealth Ontario is experiencing very high call volume. Press 1 if you have symptoms. Otherwise, press 2. Press 1 if you have traveled outside of Canada within the past 14 days. At this time, we would recommend you follow up with Public Health/PHU locator to find your local clinic.
They are recommending that I go in and get tested. So here is the testing day, and this is March 27th. Next step, in the car, I'm going to drive myself to the testing station, I guess. It's only like 4 kilometers away because there's so many in Toronto now. So let's see what this testing place looks like. So there it is, the assessment center. I started by going into there. Took all the information, and then I got my test in there.
We're just going to check the pulse.
Chin to the ceiling, all right? I'll go into this open. There we go. All right, there you go. Put the mask back over your nose.
Oh, jeez. Wow, that was intense.
Yeah.
There we go, just like that. A swab straight up the nose. And that was crazy. That felt like someone was shoving a rod into my brain. Surprisingly, I was like the only person in there. The ladies in there told me that when they tested Drake, because Drake apparently came in, they said that when they swabbed him, he was like, you tickled my thoughts. They were pretty proud of that story.
Corona?
Yeah, I had to do a test, but it came back negative though. But yo, that test is uncomfortable though. They put that Q-tip all the way all the way inside your thoughts.
March 29th, the next day, the fever started to go down a little bit. This is day 3 of sickness. But I was so fatigued and achy the whole day. I think I watched like 4 episodes of Tiger King that day. Carol Baskin.
Look, is that Joe Exotic? That's Joe Exotic.
Either the Carol Baskin, and Carol Baskin.
But yeah, I just did nothing. Just consumed media and lied in my bed and slept all day. The next day, I actually didn't have much of a fever, but that night I burned so hot. My body sweat like crazy. I woke up, the bed was wet from me sweating. And I was like, oh, I must be like sweating out toxins or something and getting rid of this virus somehow, because the following day I was less achy and I was feeling a little bit more energy. I'm like, yes, I'm going to beat this thing faster than the normal 10, 14 days. But the next day, April 1st, it regressed, and that was hard mentally to kind of get better and then get worse again. But apparently that's also a common thing. You start to get better and you get worse. Never did I have a bad cough. I never had any of the feeling of fluid in my lungs or any respiratory issues, so that was good. So I went for another 3-4 days of sleeping 12-hour days, super achy, super tired. But I did have this eye pain. When I would look in different directions, up, down, I would feel pain in my eyes. It was like, almost like a light sensitivity pain, but it would hurt to move them. And also I had this symptom where I had super sensitive skin all in my upper body, in my stomach and back. It hurt to wear a shirt. It was weird. It was like chafing almost, but my skin looked fine. So that was an odd symptom. All right, this brings me to April 5th, which was like 80% better. This is day 10 of symptoms and sickness. And then day 11, I actually was feeling a lot better physically, but mentally struggling after so many days in bed in the dark, no sun, not much sunlight. And I was having a tough time mentally. I'd been consuming way too much negative media, and like Netflix and everything had been too much. So I really just backed off that whole day. But then following April 7th, I woke up pretty good. And up until now, I'm back to 100%, exercise routines back on, eating well again. One recommendation that I heard a lot was loads of vitamin C, have zinc. So these are my two sort of saviors during this thing, zinc and vitamin C. Of course, fluid and rest. I mean, everyone says that, it's obvious. But now here comes the weirdest part, was waiting for my results online. So I got tested on the Saturday, and the physician said, if by Wednesday, 4 days later, you haven't heard from us, we're going to call you, then call us. So I tried calling, and of course they're like, no, your results are still not there yet. And I'm like, no worries. I've been reading online. People have taken 8 days to get results, 9 days. So I was like, I'll wait. 10 days rolled around. I called, still nothing. 11, nothing. They just kept saying like, oh, did you try your family doctor? And I would call them and nothing. And then eventually, I think it was day 12 or day 14, I checked online because they're posting results online, and it came back, my results indeterminate. I was like, well, I don't know what that means. No, still no one's called me to tell me what that means. And then by kind of day 14, 15, I'm like, all right, I give up. No one's going to call. And it's now day 19, still no call. So I'd call at this point 6 times, and every time they just kind of try and pass the buck and say, oh, someone will call you later, someone will call you later. So no one really knew what to do. And I'm not blaming anybody. I understand the health system is swamped right now, and I am very least of their concerns. They have people dying, so I am not in any way pointing fingers or blaming anybody, nothing. There's lots of information online for me to find. Indeterminate means the test was done either too early and the virus wasn't fully present yet, or the test is done too late and the antibodies have been fighting the virus, or the test was done improperly, the swabbing. And so either way, there's presence and there's markers of the virus. However, it's not a full or proper test, so they can't fully say it's positive. There's been plenty of cases where an indeterminate result has led to someone going to the ER and being on a ventilator. So there is definitely presence of a virus. So I am certain that I had it. All my symptoms lined up. My incubation period was 7 days. The average is 5 to 10. I mean, everything is lining up exactly the way the virus has been going. And I was out of the country. I traveled. So it's like I was the primary candidate to get the virus. So everything points to that. That's the Cole's notes of my experience with coronavirus. It sucked. But hopefully that means I'm like superhuman now and I have antibodies to fight it off. Pew, 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 pew. But yeah, and I figure if you're in a situation like this as well, you might not get the information you need. So hopefully it can help someone lower their anxiety. There's so much negativity and shaming out there right now. We just got to realize that this point in time is temporary. We'll just have to have some perspective and accept our new normal, but it won't be the normal forever. So yeah, let's just all get through it together. And also, thank you so much to all the positive messages I received on Instagram. It was super encouraging while I was sick to have people checking in and asking me how I'm doing and saying get better and drink fluids and all that stuff. So thanks for that. Really appreciate the positive community here. Also, thanks for being here on YouTube. Feel free to leave me a comment. I'll be sure to answer it. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Tell the world.